Hey guys, good evening. I hope I'm pretty much audible as well as visible to you all. Uh, just quickly type yes or that if I'm audible and visible to you guys. I was facing some technical challenges. I hope this is fine now. Again, if any issues, do let me know in the chat if I'm not audible. Cool. If everything looks okay, so then we can start. So we can start with our next session of our natural language processing. So yesterday we were talking about some of the other functions of NLP. In fact, we had a session where we talked about the basic functionalities, how things are in NLP, the basic stuff and all. Right, so we did a proper conceptual class once the day before yesterday, and yesterday we introduced to NLTK, which is like the natural language toolkit available in Python, and we saw how we can implement the multiple steps which we have in NLP. And what are those steps, guys? The very first is the morphological processing, where we have the tokens. We discuss about the tokens. So tokens are nothing but the smaller chunks of my information. Like for text, if it's a sentence, it's words. Basically, the smaller part is a word here. Or if I have a paragraph, then sentences are my tokens. And internally, then for each individual sentences, words would be their tokens. Right. So tokens is like the very first step where you break your bigger piece of information to smaller pieces. So that's tokens. And then we have three more steps. We have the syntax analysis, where we're talking about each of the tokens, how these are related with each other. So like basically finding out the relationship between my individual tokens and any thing which is in common between them. Then the semantic analysis and also the pragmatic analysis, like coming towards my exact definition of my words, and also the contextual analysis of my information basically. So that's all about my NLP stuff we have talked so far. Right. So again, if anybody has any questions in any of these concepts, so do let me know your questions, guys, so we can always talk about those. But meanwhile, as I will always encourage to be active in the chat, right? So let's make this class as a two-way communication where you can definitely ask your doubts, and meanwhile we can talk about your stuff as well. So I'm monitoring my chat, guys. If anybody has any questions, do feel free to put up a question in the chat and we can take it as it comes. So, but meanwhile, before proceeding, as always, we're gonna have the quick round of introduction, and then we're gonna be talking about my other stuffs. Cool. So, as you know, my name is Arpit Jain and I'm a senior data scientist myself. I have almost 9 years of industry experience, and along with that, I'm also a motivational speaker. So I've seen the industry, I've been into multiple domains, and along with that, when I'm a motivational speaker, I speak to students, I take the industry sessions, and I talk to them regarding the job, regarding the career, and a lot of other things. So if you have any questions, any concerns regarding the job or data science or anything in general also, you can always speak up your questions and we can take it as it comes. As part of the subjects, we'll be talking about Python, SQL, and data science. So these three are my subjects which we'll be talking about during our playlist. So Python, we have already started about, say, 3 months back. We recently finished NumPy there, and then we are planning to do the questions basically on HackerRank and the live problems. So that's what we'll be doing from the next week onwards. We have SQL. So SQL, we have already started about a month and a half back. And in SQL also, we are doing the live problem solving on HackerRank and also on the lead code now. Data science, we have started with the visualization. So we have covered visualization completely, and now we are into our natural language processing, and we'll be taking that in this lecture. So with this, guys, coming back to your promotion, which is mandatory, please bear with me for this. We have a code which is Python 10 right there in the front of your screen. So this Python 10 is going to actually help you to have your free bonus Relevel sample test paper. So what is that? So many times candidates do miss out on the great opportunities, right, due to multiple reasons, and it could be because they don't have the right degree, like they don't have a better degree compared to other students. Better degree, it means like tier A universities, or they have a poor networking, they don't know the right set of people to ask for references. And also the resumes with which the candidates are applying are actually not standing out. So because there are at least 100 other applicants for the same job, right? So there is something which is missing in your resume, might be some of the other keyword, or this is completely, which is completely, so there's something which is beyond your control, right? And also many times you're applying to like a number of jobs, still you're not getting even a single interview call, right? So very practical problem. And many times we do face these problems, but again, do not get confused. So to cater these problems only, Relevel has been introduced by Unacademy. It's one of the India's first test hiring platform, which is helping you to get your own job, your dream job, right? And here you are totally based on your skills and talent, and you're not dependent on any sort of degree or any people networking here. So you're purely based out of your own talent, right? And here you're getting your job. So how does it work? So basically it's more of the testing platform, which I've said. So here you are purely getting your job based on your skills. So if you're skilled enough, so it's more of an assessment platform, right? So you'll be asked to quickly go for your assessment based on the profile you will be joining in. So it's more of like assessment. You'll be going through multiple rounds of assessment. So only expectation from you is to get the best score out of it, right? So, and based on that score, the companies will be reaching out to you. That's how it works. There are certain other benefits also involved, guys. So at least 50 plus companies are including the top startups and unicorns. They are hiring directly from the Relevel platform, and those include EY, Upgrad, Cred, Razorpay, Urban Company, and many more. At least 1,000 plus open job position across 3 different portfolios right now: the business development, front end, and the back end development. Also, this is completely online, so you can take this from the comfort of your home. So you're not supposed to be physically present anywhere. So you can take this from the comfort of your home. The best part is this is completely free, guys. So you're not paying even a single penny to attempt this test. You can definitely take this from from your home, and then without paying even a single penny for this, right? The only expectation is you have to finish the entire test in a single day, because it's a multiple rounds test, right? So you have to finish the entire test in a single day, and the score, the Relevel score, will be revealed within a week's time, right? So, and also, as I said, so since it's an examination kind of a thing, so there is a qualifying score. So minimum you're expected to score 70%. So, and overall it's for 1,000 marks. So you're expected to score 700 out of 1,000 to get the Relevel profile done. And once you have that Relevel profile with you, you will be actually eligible for the jobs. And unfortunately, if you're not able to meet the qualifying score, you can always reattempt the test, but that can happen only after 30 days, right? So that's one thing. And also with this, guys, you're in a unique position to invite interest from the companies instead of you hunting for your own opportunities, right? So it's more of like once you have given the test, you can just sit back and relax, and based on your score, the companies will start reaching out to you. Right. Registration also is quite easy on this platform, guys. So you have the link there in the YouTube description. So please quickly check that link. And then once you go through that, the very first thing they'll ask you to select the test of your choice, right? So as I said, 3 portfolios right now: business, front end, and the back end development. Multiple roles like the relationship manager, sales associate in the business development, Angular developer, web developer in the front end, and then the backend engineer, data engineer in the backend development, right? So based on your test, so based on your profile, you can choose the test. The next thing, they will ask you to select the test date. So slots are limited. It's a beta platform, so you can I would request you to really book it fast. So you can choose the test date, and then the last thing would be to fill up the demographics, like the basic admit card details. So here you have the basic demographics like your admit card, like your full name, your email ID, your birth year, your current state, along with your gender. And then you have an option of a promo code here, right? So here in this promo code, you can use the code Python 10. So if you use the code Python 10, you're going to unlock the bonus sample test paper for you. So do not forget to use the code, guys, Python 10. You can unlock the bonus sample test paper. And for this, if you're going to use this code, as I said, so that's how the home screen will look like. So if you use the code Python 10, you're going to get the sample paper, and that's how it looks. So you have a practice tab here. You can definitely download the sample paper, and it will have all the relevant and the replica question sets. You can always practice this before actually attempting the real test. So that's actually going to benefit you. So with this, guys, I would request you to register for the platform today. So at least there's no harm in registering on the platform, right? So it's completely free anyway, right? So you can at least try it for once. And if you feel that you're not getting benefited, you can take your decisions elsewise later. But at least try it for once, right? Also, we have an official Telegram channel. The link is there in the YouTube description. It's a one-place stop for you, so you can always join this channel, and then based on this, you will be actually getting all the live updates for the upcoming classes in the schedule, so you will not be running here and there for your classes. With this, guys, the last thing which I'll request you to at least like and share the video. So if you feel that you're getting benefited, do like the video and share it with your friends. Right. So with this, guys, we are into our the content. So we are into our NLP functions. So we'll be talking about my REST NLP functions here today, and I'll be going ahead from what we have discussed so far in our yesterday's lecture. So anybody has any questions in the stuff, please do stop me and then let me know. It's just meanwhile, I'll just open up the codes. Just give me a minute. Right, so looks like it's pretty much open. Cool. So let me know if my screen is visible to you all. Right. Cool. So we are into a natural language processing, right? So we have been doing natural language processing since yesterday, and we are seeing how NLTK is one of the very strong APIs which is present under Python, which is helping us to actually get the things done in my NLP, natural language processing. So this NLTK has all the available functionalities, guys. So I'll just give you a brief, maybe the very basic things what we discussed yesterday, and then we can build up on top of that. So as I was saying, the very first step in any of our NLP process is tokenization. So we have to break the bigger chunk of information into the smaller pieces. That's going to be the tokens. So there are multiple ways of tokens. There are multiple ways, multiple functions available within my the tokenize module. So NLTK has internally one module called as tokenize. So in this tokenize module, I have multiple ways of tokenization. So we discuss about word tokenize. Remember, we discuss about tree bank tokenizer, tree bank word tokenizer, and then we discuss about the punctuation word tokenizer, word punct or punct word depending on the version, and then we have so sentence also, sentence tokenize, sentence tokenize, and then we have punct sentence tokenize for even the using the punctuations on my sentences, and then at last we also thought about the more of a custom based token, so it's towards your regular expressions, right? So multiple ways of tokenization, guys, but again the whole objective here is to get the smaller pieces of information, right? So word tokenize, tree bank word tokenize, almost similar. I'm passing my sentences here, and then just seeing the my individual words here. But the problem here we notice about the punctuation. So if I have any punctuations, or if I have any of this sort of apostrophes, so the problem is these kind of standard tokenization techniques is not able to find out the original words. For example, you can see this don't got split up into two different words, and where do is the first and the end apostrophe T. And likewise, some other ways like DON will come as the first word, and then T will come as a second, and then this apostrophe will come as coming as the third token, right? So these are the standard edge cases where are the problems, and that's where there are two ways where we can do that. Also, we have an option called as for the punctuations, we have an option called as word punct tokenizer. So using the punctuations, so you can see this. With this, I'm gonna actually have something like this. So I can specify the can here. So it's identifying my can and also identifying my individual punctuation. So that punctuation got split up separately. Still not the thing which I'm looking for, right? So to handle such cases, we have the regular expressions. So like I can also specify the specific thing which I want to extract, the specific pattern which I want to see, right? And based on that, we can also do that. So regular expressions, we saw that we specified the expressions here. So it's like for any word or any white space using the /s, right? So again, regular expressions, as I said, I'll be taking it separately in some other session. So just to show you that we have a very strong tokenizer available, which is the custom based. So we can use it based on any pattern based on which we want to split up our own sentences, right? So that's what we have here. Cool. Sentences के लिए I show you. So I have the sent tokenize. So this is for the sentences. So here the /n characters would be identified, and this is what you can see. So if there are, let's say, multiple sentences here in a paragraph, so each of these individual sentences will be clubbed, will be given as my individual token. So for the paragraph, as I said, sentences are my token. So that's what the sent tokenize is using. And in fact, on the sent tokenize also, I have the punctuation option. So punct sentence tokenizer. It's also basically using my thing. But again, also we have a very interesting thing available. So if I have a already available text, like a raw text available on my system or maybe on a server or wherever it has, I can actually load up also, right? So I have an option called as like the corpus. We know that. So corpus is more of a collection of words, and corpus module in NLTK is having all the like I would say corpus, the collection of words related functions available in this. So in this, I have a raw function called as web text. So web text is actually able to read up load up the raw text which I have. So web text.raw, the function is going to load up the raw text, right? And then in this text, I'm going to pass my because it's a paragraph, right? So I'm going to pass my the punct sentence tokenizer, and with this I have the individual sentences, right? And can you see this? So this I've loaded in the sense one. So each of these individual sentences, which is a conversation between two person, and I have it here in different individual sentences, right? Cool, guys. This is the very first thing which we discussed. Is there any question so far? Hey Sandeep, thank you for joining in. So just a quick recap here. Cool. So we are proceeding anyway. So because this is what we have discussed so far. Stop words हमने next stop words देखा था. Morphological हमने समझ लिया. So morphological में basically tokenization हो रहा है. So वो हमने already देख लिया. So post that we were discussing about my stop words, which is coming under my syntax analysis, the second step of my NLTK process. है ना? Right. So here in this stop words क्या है? Stop words basically which are the words which are commonly used in the paragraph, but not really making any interesting or very I would say strong, giving any strong information out of it. So even if I miss out those words, it still is okay. I could still be able to make the sense out of the sentences, right? So, and what are those stop words? Like majorly the conjunctions, the prepositions, the connecting words like a, and, the, is, my, are, on, if, else, like all that. So these are my connecting words, and these are basically my stop words, right? So NLTK has a very strong functionality available again under the corpus known as the stop words, right? So in this stop words, so basically NLTK has some predefined stop words available, as I was saying, so for multiple languages, and the list is available in the file leads. So here in this, you can see this Arabic, Bengali, Danish. So all the available functions available here, in different languages, the list of the stop words, you have to just load it, and then you can just use it. It's already predefined, right? So you can just, it's a predefined set of words. Like for example, I'll just show it to you. So you can see this for English, these are my set of the words, right? And I have given this, so I can definitely kind of remove the stop words from my existing set of corpus I have, right? So this basically, and it is pretty much customizable. It's again a list of words, right? It's just a list of words. So you can always add, remove based on your modification. So if you want, if you have a data in which you feel that there are some other words which are repeated like n number of times, which you don't want to use, which you don't want to be considered as your processing word, so you can always remove it. You can always add it, append it on this list, append it on the already available stop words list, and make your own customized stop word list, and just pass it over your data. So you're going to remove your stop words from your data according to your customized stop word list, right? So that's the very first thing in syntax analysis. So we have the stop words. Now post stopwards, we were discussing about the word nets, right? So that's what we stopped yesterday. Word nets, simple, yeah. Word nets, again, very simple thing. It's more of, I would say, a collection of the similar type of my informations. Like, for example, I'm passing a sentence, or say take a word, for instance. Like, for example, say dog here in this case, right? So dog ke synonyms, dog ke antonyms, and dog ke related similar words, right? And suppose if I have, say, a paragraph, and say dog is repeated, say, 10 times, and now there is some other version of dog which is again available in some other part of my text. So what it does, this word net is able to give I would say more of a context, not a contextual, more of a superficial meaning to my individual words, and trying to compare if I have the similar meaning words available anywhere in my entire corpus or not. Right, so that's what the meaning of the word nets is. And here we are talking about majorly two different sets of words here, basically synonyms and the antonyms, right? So synonyms kya hai? My similar words, right? I mean, basic lingual meaning. So synonyms are my similar words, and likewise I have the antonyms, right? So like the opposite words. So we'll be talking about the synonyms and the antonyms, right? So here in the again in this corpus module itself, we have the functionality called as WordNet. So in this WordNet, I have super function called as Syn Sets. So Syn Sets basically the similar sets basically. So Syn Sets is identifying the similar sets available, or a group of words. Syn Sets is nothing but a group of words, like, or similar group of words available for the word dog, right? So for example, if you're gonna just look out, so I have defined the Syn Sets as like this. So suppose now I'm just gonna call it again, and now I'm gonna just call this Syn here. So now can you see this? I have these many available Syn Sets available which has the similar meaning to dog. Okay, and how you can check that? I have the functions called as definitions and the examples, right? So now I have Syn Sets like anything like this. So I can call any of the Syn Sets. So Syn, it's a list, right? Anyway, it's a list. So I can just call, say, Syn hyphen 3. So I have something called as CAD, and then I can do on top of this definition, right? So I have spelling galat hai kya? Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, and then I can call this on top of this examples. Can you see this? So in this, I have an example called as you dirty dog, right? But interestingly, did you notice one thing? Let me just show it to you. So Syn hyphen 3 dot definition, and then now look at this. Now can you see this? Here it's more of I would say someone you're giving, and you're abusing someone who is morally reprehensible, right? So you dirty dog. So here, I mean, you're kind of abusing someone, right? Abusing someone with the word dog, but literally it does not mean a dog. So this dog is not an animal here. It's more of a person who is doing the wrong work, right? But now that's the problem, right? So here, that's in the second step as well. I cannot stop my analysis at the second step. If I'm going to do the Syn Sets here, it's going to be identifying based on the examples, based on some of the other way it has the kind of the corpus is defined. And here you can see this is more of a different set of I mean, it's more of giving a definition to a person, but not really an animal here, right? So to cater these again, these edge conditions, we have to proceed with other sets of the functions which we apply. Like for example, we do the semantic analysis, right? And then we go for the context, the actual context, right? So there we have the pragmatic analysis. So I mean, that's how. So that the second step, you have to find the similar things, and then post that you actually find out the context of it. Then again, we're going to remove the things which is not really contextual in our cases, right? So this is again a very classic example where you can just you have to reiterate things again and again depending on your problem statements, right? So we can always use this definition and the examples and find out what exactly these Syn Sets are. Cool. Till here, guys, any questions? I'm gonna give a minute. If anybody has any questions, please put up your question in the chat. or just a simple okay also is fine with me. Looks like I'm facing some technical challenges, guys. I hope I'm pretty much audible. Uh, am I audible now? Sandeep, I'll come to your questions. Uh, I hope I'm audible. I'm trying to check this. Okay. Cool. Great. Thank you so much. Yes, so thank you guys for confirming. So yes, metaphor थोड़ा सा tricky है. Technically अगर आपको बताऊं तो starting में वो नहीं करता है. But again, like there are a lot of like when talk about the pragmatic analysis, right? So I'll discuss about how we get the context out of your sentences specifically. So I'll talk about the how metaphors are being taken care here. But we're still in the very initial steps. So like once we start about just a minute, please. I think again I'm just a minute. Right. Sorry, guys. I'm facing some issues here. So my screen is somehow flickering, and I'm not able to uh, get the hold of the screen. Okay. Fair enough. I think looks like it's it's fine now. Cool. ठीक है. So now let's talk about the next set of informations which we have. This is for hypernyms. Hypernyms क्या है? So Syn Sets are basically Syn Sets are organized in an inheritance tree-like structure. In hypernyms represent more abstracted terms, right? So here basically now we are talking about the root words, right? So basically for each of my individual words which we have here, and now we are trying to identify my hypernyms में root words. आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ यहाँ पे exactly हम क्या करना चाह रहे हैं. Like for example, suppose here, see this. So in this Syn Sets में आपको दिखाई दिया. So Syn Sets में it is taking care of based on the examples. It is able to identify my individual similar sets, right? But here in this hypernyms, we're talking about this word and this word lingual meaning, like the actual definition of my the grammar, the more of a dictionary definition. Based on that, I'm talking about the individual root words here. So now this hypernyms is actually able to identify my individual words. So now can you see the differences here? The original Syn Sets were having some random words. We're talking about the CAD, Frank, Andiron, Chase, Paul, right? You can see this again because we saw some of the definitions where somebody was abusing someone with the word dog, and even that got considered as my Syn set here originally. But with this hypernyms, we are talking about the actual root word based on the definition of my the dictionary definition, right? And based on this, it is able to identify my root of all this. And now here it is more relatable. It's based on the animals now. You can see this: bitch, dog, fox, hyena, jackal, wild dog, wolf. So now it is more relatable. So can you see the differences? And based on these differences, I'm able to identify my each of the Syn sets here, right? So this is basically my more relatable Syn sets, right? And here in each of my Syn sets, basically, I have the lemmas. Lemmas क्या होता है? मेरा individual words. So all of my morphological form of the words available under my each of the Syn sets. So now Syn sets क्या? Similar sets, it's more of a group of words. So in a Syn set, there could be like 5, 6, 10 words, right? And each of the smaller words, we call them as lemmas. Okay, so now if I have to call, if for example, suppose I'll show it to you how exactly we find out the Syn sets here and the lemmas. So for example, I'm passing travel here. So for this travel, I can see this. These are my Syn sets. So this, let me just print it here. Now, can you see this? So I have these individual set of Syn sets, similar sets of words available. Syn sets, similar set of words available. For example, travel N01, it's again a predefined corpus available within my NLTK package. So travel N01, change of location, locomotion, travel V01, travel V02. Now for any of this, I can actually call the lemmas on top of that. So lemmas is again a function which is calling my individual words, and I'll tell you how exactly the lemmas also work. So now how can I call? So for example, I have to call the lemmas of my this word. So I can definitely directly call like this. So if I call this lemmas, so you can see this. So now for this specific travel N01, I have 3 words here. You can see this: travel, traveling, and traveling with double L. So this is basically my 3 individual sub lemmas, sub words available under my each of my Syn sets. Got it? So now if I have to find out each of my individual words, so हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? So इसमें again this is again a list, right? This is again a list. So on top of this, what can you do? You can just pass it over one of the if I have to call any of the word, you can just again index it, or like say like this. So you can find all of my words like this, right? It's just a list again. So on this list, you can always pass the basic standard function again, like the name function. On this, you're gonna get the actual word. So this is your kind of indexing we are doing on top of my Syn sets. So 2 things here. So I am first finding the similar sets for my given word, which I'm passing, and then on top of that, I'm finding out my individual lemmas, or in this similar sets, what all different words are present in this collection, and then individual words can be filtered out based on the normal list syntaxes, right? Similarly, if I have to find out this again, ये क्या है? ये इसमें basically आपको दिख रहा होगा. This is again nothing but my synonyms only, right? So this is nothing but my synonyms or my similar words available under for the same thing, right? So अब अगर suppose आपके पास ये सारे के सारे synonyms available हैं, ये सारे के सारे similar sets available हैं, और इन सारे similar sets में से सारे words को आपको निकालना है, तो how can you do that? You can just pass it over a loop, right? It's very simple. So again, suppose now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pass it over the entire list. For example, suppose I'm just going to write this loop, say for synonyms, for Syn sets, for Syn in, no, for like say Syn underscore temp in Syn, right? I'm going to have each Syn. So I'm going to just print Syn underscore temp, right? Now inside this also, I'm going to have, so for each of the synonyms also I have the individual lemmas, right? So for lem in Syn underscore temp dot lemmas, right? And then I have the print lemmas here, print lem here. Now just look at this. So for each of my syn sets, can you see this? For each of my syn sets, for syn set travel n01, these are my lemmas. For my second syn set, these are my lemmas, right? So these are my individual words which I have, right? So it's very simple. I can just keep on appending it. So now instead of printing, I can always do individual lem print lem dot name, right? So instead of having this, I have the individual names. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just define, say, a random synonym here. So synonym as my empty list. And for each of my individual lemmas, so I'm not going to print anything now. So, okay, or just let it, no, just don't print it anything. So I'm going to append. So synonym dot append. My bad. Here, append. And then I'm going to append what? Lem dot क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? Yeah, lem dot name. Cool. क्या हो गया ये? Cool. So now I have this synonym here. Can you see this? Okay. So now I can actually and this is again my thing. So I'm gonna actually append the okay. I have this synonym here. So in fact, on this synonym, I can have the set of synonyms. So set of synonym. Cool. So I have this to print. My bad. Cool. So I have this individual set of words available here. So this is my, can you see this? For the word which I've passed travel, I have just figured out what are my individual synonyms I have for the word travel. Making sense, guys? Is this point clear to everyone? So what I just did, I just used the concept of similar sets. Okay, it's not tricky, guys. Do not get confused. So there are 2-3 things which I just did. What I just did, I used the concept of similar sets, and based on similar sets, for each of my similar sets, I have certain words available under my set, because that's what we call as a set, right? So for each of this set, I have certain words available in this, and for these words, I'm calling this as lemmas. So individual lemmas, basically, right? So for all of these lemmas, I'm just passing it over a loop and then finding the individual words ka name. Very simple, right? So this is how I can find out the synonyms. Any questions in this, guys? Any questions so far? Guys, I hope it's pretty much clear, right? Please just say a yes or no in the chat. If any questions, do let me know. Cool. So अभी हमने क्या करा? हमने synonyms निकाला. So for the similar set of words, now I can always define, right? For each of my words, अगर मेरे को for the word travel, if I'm able to find any of these words anywhere in my overall corpus, overall my text, I can just simply use the word travel for this. I can just replace it with the travel, or depending on the usage, whatever you want to, howsoever you want to use it as, right? So this is one of the interesting way you can actually find out your synonyms for your individual words in the corpus. Cool. So likewise, cool. So now we have actually things for the antonym also. So antonym कैसे निकालते हैं? Antonym भी आपको बताता हूँ. चलो antonym में अभी हमारे पास सेम क्या है? Syn1 कहाँ पे निकाला है हमने? Okay, cool. ठीक है. Anyway, so अभी हम एक काम करते हैं. आपको मैं अब antonym करना बताता हूँ. Antonym का actually there is a function. Particular word in a synonym. समझा नहीं मैं. जैसे पर्टिकुलर वर्ड, जैसे मेरा ये लिस्ट ऑफ वर्ड्स, आप इसकी बात कर रहे हो, हाउ यू कैन फाइंड द पर्टिकुलर वर्ड. सो ये तो आपका देखो, ये हमने सेट बना लिया ना, ये तो आपका लिस्ट है. जैसे सिनोनिम जो है मेरा, यहाँ पर आपको लिस्ट दिखाई दे रहा है. इट्स अ लिस्ट, राइट? अब इस लिस्ट में आप कुछ भी पिक कर लो. इट्स अगेन अ लिस्ट. लाइक सिनोनिम का 0 कर लो, सो यू हैव अ पर्टिकुलर वर्ड हियर, ट्रैवल, एंड देन सिनोनिम का आप यहाँ पे एक्चुअली 1 कर लो, सो एनीथिंग इज फाइन, है ना. सो आप जैसे भी यूज करना चाहो इट्स फाइन. सो बिकॉज अगेन सिनोनिम तो आपको यहाँ पे एक पूरा लिस्ट ऑफ वर्ड्स आ गया ना. सो फ्रॉम दिस लिस्ट ऑफ वर्ड्स यू कैन प्रिंट एनीथिंग, सो व्हाटएवर यू वांट, सो हाउसोएवर यू वांट टू यूज इट. ठीक है. लेकिन एंटोनिम में थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है. सो सिनोनिम्स तो आपको एक्चुअली वो लेमास के अंदर डायरेक्टली वो वर्ड मिल रहा है, तो यू आर एबल टू गेट द सिनोनिम्स हियर, राइट. बट एंटोनिम्स का क्या है, एंटोनिम्स का फंक्शन है. सो फॉर दिस वी हैव द फंक्शन कॉल्ड एज एंटोनिम्स, राइट. So for this and for each of the lemmas now you have to actually call the function antonyms. So अब इसमें होता है कि for all the words the antonyms might or might not be there. So that is the only thing. So for all the words whatever we have, the antonyms might or might not be there in the corpus. So for example, suppose I was just checking it earlier. So let me just show it to you. So suppose I have I'm gonna use say travel. Travel का opposite actually बहुत कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं होगा. सो गुड ट्राई करते हैं. गुड का मैंने एक्चुअली नीचे ट्राई करा हुआ है. आई शो इट यू आल्सो. सो फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम गोना पास से गुड का क्लियर और एंटोनिम में बैड, है ना. सो नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द सिन हियर. सो दीज आर माय सिन सेट्स, राइट. यू कैन सी फॉर द गुड आई हैव दीज मेनी सिन सेट्स अवेलेबल, राइट. आपको दिख रहा होगा. सो ऑल ऑफ दीज सिन सेट्स आर माय सिन सेट्स फॉर गुड, राइट. अब इसमें जो है ना, अब जैसे एग्जांपल अब फॉर एग्जांपल आपको दिखाता हूँ. आपको सपोज सिन आप पकड़ते हो 0, ठीक है. तो आपका क्या है, सिन 0 1 आया, करेक्ट. अब इसके अंदर आप लेमास पे अंदर जाओगे, सेकंड स्टेप लेमास करोगे, तो लेमास में आपको लिस्ट ऑफ वर्ड्स आएगी विच इज गुड हियर. ओनली देयर इज ओनली वन लेमा हियर, राइट. सो दिस विच इज दिस इज अगेन अ लिस्ट. अगर आपके पास मल्टीपल लेमास या मल्टीपल वर्ड्स होंगे तो आपको लिस्ट ऑफ वर्ड्स, लिस्ट ऑफ लेमास दिखाई देगा, राइट. अब लेमास में अगेन आप इंडेक्सिंग करोगे तो विल गेट द फर्स्ट लेमा गुड, एंड देन इसमें आप बेसिकली क्या करोगे, नाउ ऑन टॉप ऑफ दिस यू हैव टू पास द एंटोनिम्स. So this is my function. So इस लेमा का एंटोनिम होगा, ओके. सो एंटोनिम जब आप करोगे सो इट विल गिव यू द एंड क्या, ओके सॉरी माय बैड यार. ठीक है. अब देखो इसमें क्या है ना, फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर सिन सेट जो मैंने 0 यूज किया उसके लिए एंटोनिम अवेलेबल नहीं है. सो यू कैन सी दिस इज एन एम्प्टी लिस्ट, राइट. सो ओके फाइन, फेयर इनफ. अब हम जाते हैं नेक्स्ट में. अब मेरे पास है 1 फॉर एग्जांपल हियर. ओके यार क्या कर रहा हूं मैं. ओके सो अभी मैंने ये N02 को लिया. अब इसमें मैं लेमास को ढूंढूंगा. लेमास मेरा क्या क्या है, इसके अंदर 2 लेमास हैं, गुड और गुडनेस, राइट. अब एक एक करके चेक करते हैं. अगेन ऑब्वियसली मैं इसको लूप में भी कर सकता हूं, मैं लूप में भी दिखाऊंगा आपको, बट एक बार मैं आपको स्टेप दिखा देता हूं. तो अभी मैंने क्या देखा, फर्स्ट लिया गुड आया. अब गुड का मैं एंटोनिम करता हूं, एंटोनिम्स. ओके इसका एंटोनिम्स अवेलेबल है. इसके अंदर आपको दिख रहा है अगेन ये भी एक लेमा आया, बेसिकली अगेन ये भी एक वर्ड आया, एंड यू कैन सी दिस. नाउ आई हैव दिस लेमा अवेलेबल जो कि एंटोनिम इसका, एंड यू कैन सी एविल हियर, राइट. सो बेसिकली नाउ टू गेट दिस वर्ड आई हैव टू फर्स्ट पास द इंडेक्स व्हिच इज माय 0 हियर. सो दिस इज माय लेमा एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दिस आई कैन पास द फंक्शन नेम. कूल. सो आपको एविल मिल गया. सो बेसिकली अगर आपको गुड व्हिच इज योर वर्ड, आपको अगर उसका एंटोनिम पता करना है सो उसके सिनसेट के लेमा का एंटोनिम करना पड़ेगा, ओके. सो दैट्स हाउ द थिंग इज. तो उसका ये सिंपल सिंटेक्स है. अभी मैं इतना ब्रेक करके क्यों बता रहा हूं, बिकॉज अगर आप इसको समझ जाओगे तो इस बिकम लूप में तो कभी भी ऐड कर सकते हो. अगर आपको लॉजिक पता है लूप के करने में क्या है, लूप इज वेरी इजी. लूप इज क्वाइट इजी. अब देखो सेम चीज मैंने यहाँ पर आपको एक लूप में करके दिखाई हुई, मैंने ऑलरेडी ट्राई किया हुआ है. सो आई वोंट स्पेंड मच टाइम हियर. अब देखो फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने क्या करा, स्टेप बाय स्टेप समझ लें, ठीक है. अब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं यहाँ पे इंक्रीज का कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है. अभी मैं इसको पूरे को भी एक बार के लिए पॉज कर देता हूँ, ठीक है. एंड सपोज मैं इंक्रीज को देख रहा हूँ, अगेन इसमें मैं प्रिंट करता हूँ. सपोज सबसे पहले प्रिंट कर देता हूँ सिन, ठीक है. So, अभी मेरे पास ये इंक्रीज के इतने सारे सिन सेट्स हैं, करेक्ट. इसमें किसी को कोई डाउट नहीं है. अब इस सिन सेट में मेरे को क्या करना है, हर एक सिन सेट के लेमास पे जाना है. जो हमने देखा था जब हम सिनोनिम्स भी निकाले थे, तो वी आर डूइंग द सेम थिंग, राइट. So now for each of these lemmas, so for lem in each of my sin set, which is my sin, right? And I want the lemmas. For this lemmas, what I want is lemmas में basically मेरे पास words हैं. So now print, एक बार करते हैं len करते हैं. So now basically lem करना है यार, sorry. Cool. So अभी हर एक सिनसेट के अंदर का जो मेरे पास लेमास है वो मेरे को हर एक सिनसेट का लेमास दिखाई दे दिया, राइट. सो आपको दिख रहा होगा इंक्रीज का फर्स्ट सिनसेट है एडिशन. उस एडिशन के अंदर 3 डिफरेंट वर्ड्स हैं, एडिशन, इंक्रीज एंड गेन, राइट. एंड आपको इंडिविजुअल लेमास का आपको वो क्या करना पड़ेगा, एंटोनिम्स करना पड़ेगा, राइट. अब क्योंकि देखो अब मेरे पास क्या है, अब लेमास लूप में आ रहे हैं, अब आपको मैंने बताया था। अब फॉर एग्जांपल आप क्या कर सकते हो, अब जैसे यहाँ पे अब आपको मैंने बताया था कि एंटोनिम्स जो है जरूरी नहीं है कि सबका एग्जिस्ट करता है, बिकॉज मेनी टाइम्स एंटोनिम्स डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट फॉर ईच ऑफ द वर्ड्स। सो एक बेसिक कंडीशन लगा देते हैं, इफ इट एग्जिस्ट इट शुड ऐड, इफ इट डज नॉट जस्ट पास इट टू द लूप, राइट। सो बेसिक फंक्शनैलिटी हमने ऐड करी हुई है, इफ यहाँ पे लेम है, लेम डॉट एंटोनिम्स अगर प्रेजेंट है मेरे पास तो वो पास करेगा, एल्स इट जस्ट अपेंड एंटोनिम्स डॉट अपेंड। मेरा क्या है यहाँ पे फंक्शन, मेरे पास ईच ऑफ दिस लेमा का मेरे को एंटोनिम चाहिए, तो लेमा का मेरे को एंटोनिम्स चाहिए, और एंटोनिम्स भी अगेन अगेन ग्रुप ऑफ माई लेमास है, राइट। आपको पता होगा लेमा का ये एंटोनिम डॉट होगा यहाँ पे, डॉट एंटोनिम। एंड अगेन इसमें इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग आपको मैंने यहाँ पे क्या दिखाया था, बिकॉज इस एंटोनिम में भी सेट ऑफ लेमास हैं। बेसिकली ये आपको जनरली आपको एक ही लेमा देगा इसमें, बिकॉज एंटोनिम उसका एक ही वर्ड होगा। सो यू हैव टू गेट दिस वर्ड, सो यू हैव टू राइट द इंडेक्स ऑल्सो। सो इंडेक्स में यहाँ पे बाय डिफॉल्ट आपको 0 ऐड करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज हर एक लूप में वो एक ही देगा, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट द एंटोनिम इज। एंड इस एंटोनिम का आपको निकालने के लिए एंड में नेम भी देना पड़ेगा, राइट। सो दैट्स हाउ यू विल गेट द एक्चुअल, ओके माय बैड, इंडेक्स मिस कर दिया मैं। You'll get the actual word evil. That's what you want, right? So now अब मैं यहाँ पे exactly ये एक name add कर दूंगा। So यहाँ पे मेरे को ये पूरा antonyms create करके दे देगा। ये क्यों इशू है? Right. So अभी मैं Syn Set को हटा देता हूँ। Syn Set मेरे को नहीं चाहिए। Cool है? So अभी मैं, अच्छा ये तो चीज हो गई। अब मैं इसको वापस से print जो है set of antonym को print कर देता हूँ। दिख गया आपको? सो बेसिकली इंक्रीज का मेरे को जितने भी अवेलेबल सिन सेट्स हैं, जितने भी अवेलेबल लेमास हैं मेरे पास, उसमें से उसने एंटोनिम फाइंड करके जहां जहां पे उसको एंटोनिम मिला। सो जितने सारे सिन सेट्स दिख रहे थे आपको, कितने दिख रहे थे एक बार क्विकली देख लेते हैं। सो फॉर सिन इन सिन जो है ना इंक्रीमेंट यहाँ पे प्रिंट कर देते हैं, सॉरी माय बैड, प्रिंट अगर आप करोगे तो इतने सारे सिनसेट्स में से हर एक में कम से कम एक दो लेमास भी हैं, उसमें आपको दिखाई दिया सिर्फ 2 में ही आपको एंटोनिम अवेलेबल है, राइट। एंड इनफैक्ट दीज टू आर सेट्स, दीज टू आर डिफरेंट वर्ड्स। सो बेसिकली अगर आप सिंपल देखोगे, अगर एंटोनिम्स को पहले प्रिंट करके देखते हैं तो कितने में आपको एंटोनिम्स में ये आया था, सॉरी मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ यार, एंटोनिम्स एंड देन आई हैव ऑन टॉप ऑफ दिस आई एम गोना प्रिंट द एंटोनिम्स। So basically yeah, so I have decrease multiple times, decrement करके आ रहा है। So यहाँ पे 2 unique values आ रहे हैं आपके antonyms के, but we just print the set of these, so I'm getting 2 of the individual sets, which is my unique values, right? So yeah, this is how you can get the antonyms, guys. So again, to answer your question Sandeep, again आप similar इसमें वही same चीज है, आप again इसको जिस मैंने जो loop में find करके निकाल दिया, again to based on your use case, based on your problem statement, you can always use it howsoever way you want, right? So this is again synonyms, antonyms जो है using the root words, which root word basically आपका यहाँ पे जो भी आप पास करोगे like based on your corpus। मैंने तो example में increase, decrease, good, because मैंने ऐसे words use किए जिसका actually और से antonym मिलना थोड़ा easy है। travel का it's not easy to find, travel का I don't know what is the not travel, right? So likewise, so accordingly based on your use case, right? So you have to be very smart here कि आप क्या use करना चाह रहे हो, right? उसके accordingly you can find the your things here. Cool. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions? Synonym, antonym में कोई problem है किसी को? Any doubts? Cool, sounds good. So let's proceed. अब हमारा नेक्स्ट इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है स्टेमिंग एंड लेमेटाइजेशन। तो जनरली आप लोगों ने ये दोनों वर्ड्स जो है बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली सुना होगा, स्टेमिंग एंड लेमेटाइजेशन, राइट। So again, stemming and lematization आपका part of syntax analysis है, जहाँ पे we are trying to curtail to try to shorten our individual words into their smaller form. Like for example, I have words like crying, playing. So ing, right? So ing, it's a verb form of my root word, which is play, right? So I'm gonna trim the unwanted part, which is ing, the verb of it, which is like either I can just trim off the last sentences, or I can actually convert into the root word, which is play, playful, playing, played, right? So there is a lot of verb forms of play, right? But again, the word is play here, right? So again, if I have say sentences, if I have say multiple sentences where for a similar word there are multiple verb forms of the same is being used. Like for example, I said play, so play ka played, playing, will play, right? So there are a lot of things, lot of ways the same word can be used in your sentences, right? It's like multiple verb forms of the same. So technically, again, if we talk about the information which we are getting out of this word is the same, right? Play. Technically, it's play, right? So for me, if I'm talking about the machine's perspective, what we do is, again, if there are say multiple words available in this form, so first we have to find out what is the actual word for this, the verb forms are used, right? So that is where the techniques stemming and lematization comes. Okay, so I'll just first talk about stemming. So stemming is a technique used to extract the base form of my words, removing the affixes from them. Affixes basically क्या है, जो आपके words के ends में लगता है, right? So you're trying to remove the certain endings of your word to make sure that you're not using it again and again. So for example, playing, crying, say played, whatever you do. So you're trying to remove the affixes from your words, right? It's like to extract the base form of your word. So that's what stemming is, right? So it is just like cutting down the branches of a tree to its stems, right? So you're kind of removing the like some of the arms of your words and trying to make it to the core sentence, right? So I just want to have the root and the stem standing. I don't want the branches, right? I just want the core thing. So that's how the stem works, right? Like as I said, for example, the stem of the words eating, eats, eaten is eat, right? So for the eating, ing got removed. For eats, s got removed. For eaten, en got removed, right? So ultimately, all of these individual verb forms of my eat got converted to eat after stemming, right? Makes sense. And also I was talking about the verb, the web engines, right? The where we have the Google, Bing, the Yahoo search and all that. So they are also using this technique, which is stemming, for your indexing of your words, right? So whenever you do a character search, whenever you do a search on these text on this search bars, right? So they actually internally do stemming, and they do the indexing of your words, and that's how they make the searches fast, right? So they apply a lot of NLP techniques on top of your actual search context which you type in, and then based on that they do the indexing, and then they fast track the process. That's basically how it works. Cool, makes sense. Right. So in this way, I mean, definitely stemming reduces the size of the index and increases the retrieval, I would say, time in that sense. And many times, so there are many types of stemming also. So there are majorly 4 different types of stemming. Okay. When I say types, basically it's more of again the functionalities available under NLTK, right? So when I talk about the types, basically the functionalities. So the majorly the 4 types of functions of stemming available: Porter stemming, Lancaster stemming, Snowball stemming, and the Regex stemming. ठीक है. पोर्टर स्टेमिंग बहुत ओल्ड फैशन्ड है, मतलब इट्स अ वेरी स्टैंडर्ड वे ऑफ स्टेमिंग. जब भी आप इनफैक्ट बाय डिफॉल्ट इज पोर्टर स्टेमिंग ऑल्सो ओनली. सो जब भी आप स्टेमिंग करते हो ना, सो पोर्टर स्टेमिंग इज अ वेरी ओल्ड फैशन एंड वेरी जेंटल वे ऑफ stemming your words, right? It's a very old fashioned, very standard way of stemming your word. I'll show, I mean, when I say Porter stemming, I'll actually give you the exact examples how Porter, Lancaster, Snowball, and these are actually I mean results your individual words, right? And आपको पता चलेगा कि उसका यूजेज क्या है, आप कैसे यूज करना चाहते हो. Likewise, Lancaster क्या है? Lancaster it is actually developed by the Lancaster University. It's more aggressive. Aggressive जैसे आपका again आप there are certain rules. Again आप जिसकी कोडिंग में जब जाओगे, स्टेमिंग की जब एक्चुअली पाइथन कोडिंग रूट कोडिंग में जब जाओगे, you will be actually seeing some rules there, right? अगर ing है एंड एंड में es है, s है, so उसमें ना रूल्स डिफाइंड है, मतलब इट्स लाइक अ स्टैटिक रूल्स फॉर ईच ऑफ द वर्ड्स. दैट्स हाउ इट डज, राइट? एंड उसमें अगर आप लैंकास्टर स्टेमिंग की कोडिंग में जाओगे, यू विल सी इट्स मोर एग्रेसिव. द रूल्स आर मोर एग्रेसिव. उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा कंडीशंस आर मोर, राइट? एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कंपैरेटिवली स्टिल आई वुड से giving sometimes better results than Porter stemming, because the rules are more aggressive there. Right. Likewise, snowball stemming is more advanced. So snowball stemming is sometimes also referred as a Porter 2 stemming. So Porter के ऊपर आपका more advancement है. Again, when I say advancement, rules की ही हम बात करें. Rules basically again there are certain rules based on which the stemming is happening, right? So these rules are more strongly defined, more giving you the better results after stemming. Right, so that's what snowball gives. It's more advanced form. It's sometimes referred as Porter 2 stemming. Right. Again, the very last is Regex. Right. Regex आपको almost हर जगह दिखाई देगा NLP में. देखो, because again stemming हो सकता है कि आपको अपने हिसाब से करना हो, है ना? आपके पास कोई बहुत ही fancy word है, and I mean there is something which you really don't want to lose out, right? So there is always an option to do regular expression का stemming. So you can always have your own predefined a pattern which you want to remove from your words, and you can use the regular expression stemming. Cool, ठीक है? अब हम इसमें बेसिक अब implementations में घुसते हैं, ठीक है? अब हमारे पास इसके पहले जो भी हम यूज कर रहे थे वो कॉर्पस मॉड्यूल से कर रहे थे, राइट? बट स्टेमिंग में वी हैव द मॉड्यूल कॉल्ड एज स्टेम, ठीक है? इस स्टेम के अंदर आपके पास पोर्टर स्टेमर भी मिलेगा, लैंकास्टर स्टेमर भी मिलेगा, स्नोबॉल स्टेमर भी मिलेगा, रेगेक्स स्टेमर भी मिलेगा. ओके, सो आपका मॉड्यूल का नाम है स्टेम. ओके, सो nltk.stem के अंदर से वी आर इंपोर्टिंग पोर्टर स्टेमर, ठीक है? एंड नाउ दिस पोर्टर स्टेमर का फंक्शन इज बीइंग कॉल्ड एज वर्ड स्टेमर, एंड आई एम पासिंग माय वर्ड्स, ऑल ऑफ दिस वर्ड्स ऑन टॉप ऑफ माय स्टेम फंक्शन. Okay, good. We have a question here. Ate to eat. Can I say here is strongly rule implemented? Again, yeah, it's totally true. It's totally true. In fact, we'll see that example. Again, it's all depends how you want to use this information, right? If you want ate to be converted to eat, or if you want ate to be used as it is, right? As I said, it depends on the use case. So if your use case say that you want ate to be converted to eat, then yes, in this case, it's a very strong conversion, and this is what is advised, right? But in some case, suppose if you are not able to, if you don't want ate to be converted to eat, and you want ate to be used as it is, right? I mean, some of the odd use cases. So in this case, this rule is not good for you, right? So that is the only reason why we have to first understand how we want to implement our use case, right? How we want to apply the problem. It's just not like when I say snowball is more of the advanced form of porter. It does not mean that porter तो कभी use ही नहीं करना चाहिए, because snowball आ चुका है तो porter की क्या जरूरत है? स्नोबॉल यूज करेंगे हम, फिर पोर्टर क्यों यूज करेंगे? टेक्निकली आपको ही सोच रहे होगे, ऐसा नहीं होता है. सो यू हैव टू फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि आपके यूज केस में जो रूल्स इसमें प्री डिफाइंड है स्नोबॉल, लैंकास्टर या पोर्टर में, आपको क्या चाहिए उसमें? व्हाट डू यू वांट फ्रॉम दिस, राइट? डज दैट मेक सेंस? डज दैट बिकॉज the ideal way to do is you have to first use these all three stemming techniques on a loop, and then you have to see what is the performance of your model, right? How the model is performing. I mean, when you talk about your NLP machine learning models and all that, so you have to first see in all of these in the loop, and you have to check कैसे काम कर रहा है, how the models are performing, how it is more relevant to me in this case. You cannot just blindly say that porter 2 अगर आ गया है snowball में, तो snowball की जगह porter को use ही क्यों करना है? You just discard porter. It's not like that, है ना? आपको अपने use case के हिसाब से identify करना पड़ेगा. So I hope that I answered your question. Right? So likewise, suppose I have this, I use the porter stemmer here, and now I'm going to pass Lancaster stemmer, right? So Lancaster stemmer mein I can again pass eats, even I can also pass ate. राइट. सो कैन सी दिस टेक्निकली एक्चुअली लैंकास्टर ने आपको 8 को 8 नहीं करा, आपको 80 करा, राइट. अगेन लाइकवाइज इट डिपेंड्स, राइट. सो अगेन हर एक का आप इनफैक्ट यहाँ पे 8 करके देखते हैं. पोर्टर स्टेमर में 8 क्या करता है, दिख रहा है आपको डिफरेंस. सो पोर्टर स्टेमर में 8 का 8 रह गया, ओके, एंड लैंकास्टर स्टेमर में वो 8 का 8 हो गया, राइट. अब आप बोलोगे कि आपको अब अगेन जैसे अब जैसे मैं अगेन ये जो स्नोबॉल स्टेमर है ना, स्नोबॉल स्टेमर को मैं यूज करता हूँ. रुको, स्नोबॉल स्टेमर को मैं यहाँ पे फॉर एग्जांपल सेम को कॉपी करता हूँ. एक बार आपको मैं यहाँ पे 8 का ही शो करता हूँ. मैंने एग्जांपल दिया हुआ है. चलो 8 है एंड देन यूज 8 हियर एंड देन यूज 8 हियर. मैंने स्नोबॉल नहीं यूज किया हुआ है क्या, कूल. देखा. सो अभी देखो तीनों में क्या है, तीनों ने एक्चुअली आपको 8 को ईट नहीं करा. 8 ने तीनों को 8 ही करा. 8 8 8 8 एंड 8. सो बेसिकली लैंकास्टर स्टेमर तो सबसे खराब है यहाँ पे. सो एंड अगेन पोर्टर एंड स्नोबॉल इज गिविंग यू द सेम रिजल्ट. सो यू कैन यूज either of these, right? So again you have to actually, I mean, you cannot just keep on, you cannot just remember कि हर एक वर्ड का हर एक स्टेमर से क्या रिजल्ट आता है. It's not required also, right? You can just run it on the code and then find out. And then you can always see this, and this is why I'm saying this. So the machine learning techniques, whatever we have, right, it's more of your hit and trial techniques, right? इसमें कुछ hard and fast नहीं है. You just have the list of functionalities available, and based on your understanding, based on your logical lookout of your problem, you have to use the right function for you. So I mean, there's no definition of a right function here. You have to find out what is right function for you. What is the right function for you? And nobody can tell that, only you can tell that. And how you will identify that? By running it multiple times, by doing multiple hit and trials. That is the only way out. I mean, you cannot just remember, right? कि 8 का पोर्टर में क्या आता है. I mean, it's not a viva question anyway. It's not required, right? So do not feel like, you know, if you don't know this, am I supposed to learn all this? It's not required. Just find out on the code and then find out after applying from the code, is it really making sense to you? Is this how you want to use this? If yes, proceed. If not, try some other option. है ना? And then suppose if any of this is not working out, इसके ऊपर आपके पास any regular expressions तो है ही, right? अगर आपको पता है कि अगर आपको suppose by default 8 को eat में करना है, अपना खुद का स्टेमिंग लॉजिक बना लो ना. रेगुलर स्टेमिंग आप सिंपल एक रिप्लेसमेंट का क्वेरी बना लो, 8 को ईट में कन्वर्ट कर दो, क्या प्रॉब्लम बनता है ना. सो इट इज लाइक मोर ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ यू वांट टू इंप्लीमेंट योर यूज केस. कूल. ठीक है. चलो अभी हम पढ़ते हैं. हाँ यार, इसमें हिट एंड ट्रायल ही होता है. इसमें देयर इज नो फैंसी वर्ड, फैंसी वे ऑफ डूइंग थिंग्स, है ना. चलो अब इसमें मैंने मल्टीपल एग्जांपल्स लिया हुआ है. जस्ट लुक एट दीस एग्जांपल्स. अब सपोज आई हैव द वर्ड्स कॉल्ड एज से फेयरली, आई हैव लाउडली एंड आई हैव सॉल्टी, है ना. आपको दिखाई दे रहा है. अभी इसमें अगर आई एम पासिंग ऑल ऑफ दिस, पोर्टर, लैंकास्टर एंड स्नोबॉल, ठीक है, सिंपल है, राइट. इसमें आप देखोगे फेयरली का फेयरली हो गया, एल आई हो गया. सो इसमें से बाइसबॉल से सिंपल वाई हट गया, राइट, बिकॉज इसके रूल में डिफाइंड है, इसके लॉजिकल कोडिंग में ये डिफाइंड है कि अगर ऐसा वर्ड है इस कैरेक्टर का, अगर लास्ट में वाई है तो वाई हटाएगा ये, ठीक है. इसके रूल में डिफाइंड है. आपको लैंकास्टर दिख रहा होगा, थोड़ा एग्रेसिव है, इसने एल वाई हटाया, राइट. नाउ इट बिकम फेयर विच इज एक्चुअली द राइट वर्ड, राइट. एंड स्नोबॉल ने भी सिमिलर थिंग किया, एल वाई हटा के फेयर कर दिया. लाइकवाइज लाउडली में से अगेन इसने वाई हटा के आई से रिप्लेस कर दिया, अगेन सम लॉजिक, राइट. अगेन सिमिलरली इसने भी आई से रिप्लेस किया. सॉरी माय बैड, आई डिडंट सी दैट. Also similar in the porter also, the logic is like it is converting y to ly to li or y to I. That is the logic that has been defined here. Don't ask me why it is doing that. It's the logic which is defined for the porter stemmer, right? That is the only reason why we have multiple options available. कुछ वर्ड्स का पोर्टर करेक्ट करता है, कुछ वर्ड्स का स्नोबॉल करेक्ट करता है, कुछ वर्ड्स का लैंकास्टर करेक्ट करता है. और आपको कैसे पता चलेगा ये? आपको हिट एंड ट्रायल ही करना पड़ेगा इसमें. देयर इज नो अदर ऑप्शन इन दैट, राइट. Cool. So salty again similar आपको दिख रहा होगा. Salty आपका salty I बन गया in porter, and then even in the Lancaster which was working good in loudly, it is giving me the the wrong result in the salty condition. It should be salt, right? So And then even in the Snowball, it's not working good. Snowball also giving the wrong result in SOLTI. So you never know. You actually cannot just remember these words. You have to whenever there's a question, whenever there is a word like that for you, you have to apply your own available options and have to find out which one is good for you and how you want to use your data as. ठीक है. अब एक्चुअली आपको बताऊं, स्टेमिंग में जनरली भी थोड़े से इश्यूज हैं. ओके, सो देयर आर सर्टेन इश्यूज, सर्टेन ड्रॉबैक्स ऑफ स्टेमिंग, जिसके वजह से हम लेमेटाइजेशन यूज करते हैं. सो स्टेमिंग क्या करता है, बेसिकली वो ट्रिम करता है. स्टेमिंग इज ट्रिमिंग योर अफिक्सेस, ट्रिमिंग योर certain last characters of your words. That's what stemming does, right? So here is many a times the stemmed word which is coming out after stemming is not making any meaningful or appropriate sense, right? For example, here can you see this salt tea? I mean, there is no meaning of salt ti, and also I mean there's no meaning, technical meaning of SAL. There could be something else, but not what we wanted from this, right? And also here loud li, there's no meaning of loud li. There's no meaning of that, right? So many a times stemming actually does not give you a meaningful or appropriate stems, which is appropriate words, right? And we have seen those contexts, right? And for this reason only lemmatization is used, right? And lemmatization is used as it keeps the fact and it considers and it will return the root word of your individual, I would say, words in that sense, right? So whatever tokens we pass, right? So it actually considers the verb form of each of the words, and depending on the verb form of the noun, it's gonna give you the exact root word. Okay, so for example, salty, right, or whatever the verb form of your word is, right, it's gonna give you the root word. So that's the logic of lemmatization, and it has an advancement over stemming. Stemming से basically क्या हो रहा है? Stemming से you are trimming your affixes, you are removing some end characters of your words. On the other hand, lemmatization is actually helping you to get the root word of your original tokens, right? So it's gonna consider the verb forms of your nouns or verb forms of your whatever things you're giving up, and then based on that, it's gonna return the root word of that particular word which you're passing out, right? So that's the advantage of lemmatization, right? Here, as I said, the output will be we will get after lemmatization is called lemma. So it's like, again, lemma is nothing but the word anyway, which is a root word rather than root stem. Very important thing. It's a root word. It's not a root stem. Okay. Stem क्या करता है? Stem is nothing but हमने बस trim कर दिया कुछ चीजों को, right? We are just trimming off something. But lemmatization is more logical. It's more making more sense. It's more of a contextual trimming of your words, right? It is returning the root word. Cool. And after lemmatization, the lemmas the lemmas will be actually having more sense. It is actually you can actually it's actually a word which will make some sense, right? It's not some random words which will be giving up. Cool. And ये कहाँ से आता है? Again, just to implement things. So again, in this stem corpus only, we have the function called as word net lemmatizer. Okay. So this word net lemmatizer is what it is doing the lemmatization function I have. So you can see this. I'm passing the books. It is returning me the book. And so for example, just compare this lemmatization and the stemming. For example, believes, right? So BELIEVS, believe. He believes in something, right? So the root word is belief, EIEF, right? So what the stem does, it's gonna remove ES at the end. It has removed ES, but the lemmatization is gonna return the root word, which is belief. So believes is one of the verb form of your belief, which is the root word belief, right? So that's how the lemmatization is giving you the results. Again, don't think that lemmatization is always good, okay? And don't think that stemming should never be used. It's not like that, right? Yeah, everything has its own individual importance. Everything has its own individual identity in this functionality purpose, right? So sometimes you actually need lemmatization, and I would say 75% of the time you actually need lemmatization over stemming, but yes, in still 25% of the cases you would be needing stemming over lemmatization, right? So it again, these two are the individual functionalities again available under the module stem, right? So you, based on your own logical understanding, you have to use either of them for your own purpose. Cool. So I'm just gonna I just used the list of certain words. Okay. So for this I've used the stemming and the lemmatization part. So you can always find out this, and you can always make certain list and then make your own things available. Cool. So I think let's cover this regex part tomorrow. So I've created some interesting class here, so I'll show it to you how it does. But again, let's not just quickly jump into the topics. I think we are pretty much good today, and we have covered some really good, exciting things. So I hope it is making sense, right? So stemming and lemmatization, very frequently asked question, guys. So if you go for any interview, and if the interviewer is expecting you to know the NLP stuff, trust me, the first thing which they may ask you is what is the difference between stemming and lemmatization. Okay, very standard question, very standard question. It's, and I would say, if yes, 90% chance is there that if you're going for an NLP interview, this question will be asked to you. What is the difference between stemming and lemmatization? कुछ नहीं है, सिंपल सा डिफरेंस है, आपको पता चल गया, मतलब आई मीन आई हैव टोल्ड यू, आई हैव ट्राइड टू गिव टेल यू लाइक with the least complexity I could. But again, if anybody has any doubt, please let me know. Stemming is nothing but we are trimming off the affixes, we are trimming off certain characters from a word, the end characters from a word. Rather, lemmatization is more, and many times the stem words coming out of the stemming does not really make sense, because it's like it's more of the character removal, right? But after lemmatization, the lemmas will make the actual sense. It's the root word, and it's gonna take care of the verb forms of your nouns or whatever word you're gonna give up, and then it's gonna return the root word. So that's how the stemming and lemmatization is. Cool. So with this, we can wrap up for the day, guys. Anybody has any questions before we wrap up for the day? I'm okay to take any question if anybody has. Yes, absolutely, career hunt. Yes, absolutely. So trimming in stemming, yes. So we're gonna trim off the affixes, the last characters in stemming. But in lemmatization, it's gonna take care of your verb form. So for each of the words, it's gonna return the actual root word, right? So root word for each of the tokens which we're gonna pass. Again, guys, one advice when I'm saying this. Lemmatization and stemming, I do not say that lemmatization is the only thing which you have to use. So it's not like that, right? So do not think like that. Each of these functions has its own individual identity and own individual importance. So many times you would be using lemmatization, but yes, there will be some of the times where stemming is actually needed for your work. So based on your work, so you have to, you are the judge for your work, right? So based on your judgment, you have to understand that what is the thing which you want, right? That's how it works. Cool. So I think with this we're pretty much good, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for asking the questions. So I'm gonna give your evening back, and let's meet tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m. But yes, since it's a weekend tomorrow, so we'll be doing the SQL classes. So tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Generally we go live at 10 a.m. On the weekends, but guys, this weekend we'll be going live at 9 p.m. the same time as today. But again, as always, we'll be having two classes, so 1 hour each, so 9 to 10 and then 10:15 to 11:15. So we're gonna be having two streams for SQL, and the next 2 days will be for SQL, and we'll be solving the questions live from both the hacker rank and the lead code, right? So please join us tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. onwards, for SQL live problem solving from HackerRank and the lead codes. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. And same here. Thank you so much, Career. And I remember, if I'm not wrong, I think your name is Ashish, but I was not calling out your name because I don't remember that. But I vaguely remember your name is Ashish, but that's fine. So even and nice to see you back again. Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that the video is highly addictive. Okay, great. Then I'll maybe I'll share the links to my wife. She should be watching these videos. Cool. But anyway, so great guys. So thank you so much, and as always, so let's connect again tomorrow, the same time, 9 p.m. and that's gonna be for sequel. Cool. With this, thank you so much, and have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.